We are getting old.
My dream is to be a pilot. I want to be an architect.
Geologist.
You and I are growing further. You don't really talk to me.
We're live with episode number 5 of the One Degree Alumni Podcast. My name's Roger from One Degree, and today I'm with Cyril, a One Degree alum from 2018, I think it was. Hey, Cyril, how you doing? Good to see you.
I'm doing okay. I'm doing okay. And yourself?
Yeah, really good. Really good. Such a good, opportunity to have a little catch up with you and see what you've been up to. I know you've been doing some great things the last few years, but keen to jump back to your time with One Degree and then sort of get a feel of where you are now. But I suppose to start us off, what can you remember about those days back in One Degree? I think it was quite a while ago, about 6 years ago now.
Yeah, it used to be fun, very fun. But let's take it back, 2018. What I do remember as One Degree is that it was very helpful. As a start, I didn't really know what it was about until, let's say, toward the end. And I got to realize that, this is actually going to improve my grades. It's going to make me more focused in lessons. So then I took that on board and say, this is something that I would like to improve on. And then the people that are there to help me, the teachers, the English and maths. And then, I just used every opportunity that I had. Although that I did play quite a lot in lessons, but hey, that's the that's part of the it's part of the fun. But I did use every opportunity that I had to its fullest. If I had to go back again, I would still kind of like do the same thing, but then improve it much better. So.
Oh man, nice.
Yeah.
Do you feel like when you started One Degree was it a real effort, taking part on the Saturdays, or did you feel like it was kind of killing two birds with one stone? You were going to do some revision and, meet some new people anyway, so it was kind of okay. Can you remember?
It was, I wouldn't say it was, sorry, can you repeat the question again?
Was it sort of hard, when you think back to actually going in on a Saturday and having to take part in it, or did you find it actually okay?
Oh no, it wasn't difficult at all. It was okay with me because normally on a Saturday as a youth, you don't really have anything to do from like morning till afternoon. So if you have some schoolwork to do, or even if you have to go out to do something, education first, you can play later on. So I took that very seriously, although that I still played a lot. But then, I wouldn't say it was difficult. It wasn't hard at all. It was just easy for me to do it. So yeah.
And do you think, obviously maths and English is something that One Degree, really prides itself on trying to help students with. But outside of that, what was it helpful in? General life skills, soft skills, just chatting to some of the volunteer mentors and stuff like that. Do you remember any of those kind of more casual conversations that were helpful?
Yeah, I can't really remember her name, to be honest with you. I can't remember, but she was kind of like telling me what to do in terms of my national insurance. When I do have it, I should apply for jobs. And then I said, when I do have it, I will try and do it. So those type of like, how would I say, out of school conversations were very helpful as well, because right now that I'm 23, and then if she told me that information back then, I was like, okay, cool. But now that I know this, I can now understand why she was, telling me those information, that it's good to have it before it's too late. So those conversations outside of school, education, maths and English, it was very helpful. I can't really remember her name though, but it was very
we'll track it down. We'll figure it. And then finishing up One Degree, obviously you had several sort of months on the program. You did your exams. Did you get some of the grades you were hoping for in the end? How did it all pan out after that?
I did get the grades that I wanted. And I believe just before we finished GCSEs, we had work experience, I think, and mine was Pret. So even at Pret, I believe, if you work in a coffee shop and then you order a cappuccino, you have to, the person says the name. And then I was that guy that has to scream the name. And for me, I don't really like shouting. I'm not really that type of guy. So then I had to go out of my comfort zone to do that. And then me doing that, it kind of like gave me confidence to do other stuff. And then I started to take some people's orders at the age of 17. I was doing that. I couldn't even think that I would ever do that in my whole life, because I'm not that type of person to be shouting and to be speaking to people. Although I like to speak to people, but not in a busy area where it's 8 a.m. in the morning, you're taking someone's order, they're in a rush to go to work. Yeah. It has to be quick, it has to be snappy to be put under that type of pressure. At such a young age, at 17, I think that really boosted my confidence to do other stuff later on. And even now, I kind of like relate to it, where if I face a challenge, I look back and say, hey, you did this at 17 years old, you can do it again, but in a different context. So it helped me a lot.
Nice. And then between that work experience, finishing one degree, getting your GCSE results, end of year 11, talk us through some of the things you got involved in. Obviously you went to college next, and then the next few years of your life, what you sort of got up to.
So after one degree, and then we had our GCSEs and everything, went to college, did sports science level 3, and I think after that we were doing a lockdown, so everyone was home, and then I kind of like started to do photography. That was when I kind of like had this passion which I didn't know I had, and then it just kicked off from there, doing photography of people, events, and then I think I even took a gap year, and then to kind of like figure out what I wanted to do. I also did an apprenticeship in a care company for a year, and that was also good as well, to see a different view in the health industry as to if you were to care for an elderly person. So apprenticeship, I took a gap year apprenticeship, and then during that time I started to do photography. So So talk us through the sort of the journey of the photography and how that came about, or how you discovered that, and what those first few months of discovering the joy of photography, or what that was all about. So the moment that I kind of like realized that I can take this further, it was when one of my friends, because every time that we go out, I'm the guy that's taking pictures of people, and then my friend was like to me that you can actually do this. I said okay, but I don't have a camera. Knowingly, my uncle was also a photographer / a videographer. Now he's a sound engineer. So when I saw him, I think he was also we were doing a recording for our church, because in our church we do some live recordings for announcements and everything. And then that was when I also got engaged into it. I started to help out, be an assistant. And then within a space of 2 years, I got to learn about how cameras works. Although that I do have an idea, but I didn't really know the education of it. So I had to be taught by someone who's already been in the industry, rather than going on YouTube to learn. So for me to be taught in person, it was much quicker and it was much efficient. And then afterwards, I think he kind of left me to do what kind of like led me, because I think that every career leads you into something, if that makes sense. So he didn't want to kind of like push me into doing weddings or to do engagements. He just kind of like just gave me his camera, and then to do what I wanted. And then at the end of the day, I've chosen my niche, and then that's that's quite the journey so far now. Yes.
Nice. What, did you find you were quite a natural at it? I mean, I know you obviously said you started to get really engaged by it and started enjoying it, but did it come quite naturally to you, and did you find it quite easy?
I wouldn't say naturally, because you can have talent, but if you don't practice your talent, it doesn't evolve. It's not nourished. So I believe so. I had to, even though I had like I wouldn't say a talent, I had like a skill to it, but then I had to practice more. And even you also have to take constructive criticism. For example, there was a shoot that I'd done one time, and then he said, no, don't do this, it's too bright, it's too dark. And then I felt kind of like not offended by it, but I was like, hold on, what's going on here? But then he was teaching me. So by him doing that was also very helpful. And then
Nice. So and have there been any really exciting shoots or exciting opportunities or events that you can draw on, that you think of some of those ones that you thought, oh my god, I can't believe I'm actually here doing this, photographing this person or this event?
Yeah. So the biggest one that I always kind of like ponder upon is Floyd Mayweather.
Nice.
He had a boxing event at the O2 with I forgot his name, Aaron Chalmers, that's it. And then for some reason I was somewhere doing something, and then someone called me and saying, oh, are you able to come over here for a conference? I said, okay, cool. And then I turn up, and then the lady says it's going to be Floyd Mayweather. The next 10 minutes I see his car parked, and then he just walking. I'm just imagine, so he parked and then he just walked straight in front of me. In my mind, I have to be doing my job, but I'm realizing, like, hold on a minute, what's going on here? Like, there's two things playing in my head that I'm not even kind of like aware of where I am. So I believe that he came to London, and then he had a conference, and then he had a weigh-in, and then he had a birthday party, and then he had a fight. So all those 4 events of me seeing him like 3 days in a row, it's very inspiring, because he did say something that really stuck to me. He was like, if you have something that you believe that you can do, you can still do it. You know, with passion, you can still do it. It's going to be hard, it's not easy, which now I understand that photography is, you can have great talent, you can have great passion, but also if you don't put hard work into it, it's just like every other job. If you want to be a stylist, if you want to be a barber, if you want to be, I don't know, you know, you can have the talent, you can have the gift, but if you don't put in the work, you wouldn't get the results that you want. And there's a place that I want to get to, although that I may have the talent, I may have the gift, but it's the hard work that counts at the end of the day.
So he took the time and actually came to you and said those words of wisdom. That's amazing.
So no, he didn't actually say it. So it was the post conference.
Oh, I see.
I said, yeah, that he was being asked some questions, and then that's what he was also saying. And then I feel like he was also speaking to me in a way, because I was also like, I wasn't standing in front of him, but I was kind of like seated taking pictures. So then even when he was even speaking and he looks at me, I mean, hey, it's, you know, Floyd Mayweather looking at you. So so those are and even during his birthday, I got to meet Jamie Foxx, another great guy, a great artist, a great actor, very funny as well. So those two people, especially Floyd Mayweather, it's just amazing that I got to shoot one of the biggest, celebrities in the sports and industry. So yeah.
Wow, it's amazing. You've done more in such a short space of time than most photographers will do in many, many years. That's incredible.
Yeah, that's because my uncle he kept saying to me that even though you started small, you know, you can go as far as you can. And every time people say to me that when you started to take pictures, it wasn't as great as compared to now, because now there's a growth to it, And so I was saying to you that it takes time to do things, you don't just wake up and say, I'm going to have a degree. You need to go to school for 3 years, 4 years, and that's when you get the degree at the end. It doesn't just come up and then sit in front of you. You have to work hard. So me coming home late. So basically the quote unquote success that I had before was, for example, coming home late around 3 o'clock. This is just an example. So after the birthday party, for Floyd's birthday party, I came home around 3 o'clock. I had to edit the pictures, and then I had to go back to the O2 around, let's say, 1 p.m. So imagine I had to edit, I have to sleep, I have to eat, I have to put all those ones from 3 o'clock to like 12. That's a short time to even sleep and to edit and then to do all of it. So those things in life is that counts. Like, that's what matters. You don't just wake up and say, I'm going to do this. You have to put the work in. Although that you're tired, hey, no one's going to care if you're tired or not. As long as you get the work done, that's it.
Well, I mean, you sound like you've come up with some amazing philosophies and work ethic and understanding and level-headed about it all, which is amazing. And some people takes decades before they can take a real grounded look at a situation like I think you have. So I mean, that's amazing. Yeah. It's good that you've done so much and experienced so much already. So I guess that brings us up to where we are now. So what are you up to right now? What are some of the plans for the future, and how's that looking?
Okay, so for now, I'm currently working in the NHS doing a part-time job. So for example, if I work 3 days a week, so Monday, it can be any days as long as I work 3 days a week. It's totally fine. And then on days that I'm not working is when I do my photography stuff. And what my uncle also told me was that if you want to do photography full-time, it has to be a thing where you get clients constantly, like it's every day non-stop. He also advised me that do not lose your day job for your photography, because it will get to a point where you will be kind of like low on money. And it makes sense because I believe also photography is like a season where it's like every season. You have the rainy season, you have summer, and you have winter. So if, for example, from January to like April, you're making money, but in summertime, you're not getting bookings. That's when, okay, cool, are you gonna borrow from the bank to pay your bills? And then from December to like the following year, that's when you get another booking. So that means that you're kind of like making money, you're borrowing money, and then you're making money again. Whereas you want to get to a point where you're getting booked every single week, every single day, you're getting booked. So that's where I'm at right now, where I'm working, but at the same time, I'm doing what I love. And then I will get to a point where I have to say, okay, cool, I've saved enough money. Now I have to focus on what I want to do, what my heart wants to do. And then hopefully by the grace of God, I'll be signed to any a brand or a label to work as a full-time photographer. So that's the aim I am at right now. I'm not looking to quit my job anytime until I get a contract. Maybe I have to take a risk, which you never know. It's good to take a risk, but it's also good to measure your risk as well. You can't just quit your job like that.
So you're saying so you're saying that you really, there's going to be peaks and troughs, and you're going to have busy times and not busy times. So does that mean that, are you at a stage where you're kind of saying yes to everything just to get as much experience and just really, gather as much as you can? Or there's certain things you would rather just say, oh no, that's not for me? Okay,
so there's some projects that I kind of like say no to, because if you came to me in 2019 and then you said you want to do this, I would say yeah. But now it depends on my brand, because I wouldn't, how would I say, it's not like I'm bragging or pride or anything. There's a point in my life where I can't be doing those type of shoots anymore. For example, I can't do free shoots anymore. You know, so if you want to free shoot, I can call someone for you, but for me, you have to pay. So yeah, that's the case where right now I don't accept every shoot, because I think that sometimes to say no is very powerful. To say no is very powerful. I used to think that to say yes means that, oh, you're available, but sometimes to also say no to someone, it kind of like kicks them and say, oh, I thought you was available. That means, you know. But now I say no, some people have said, okay, he's busy then. So yeah, I'm busy. Even though I'm not shooting, I'm learning about my craft. I'm learning about myself.
Wow, you're coming out with pieces of gold just time after time, every time. So good. And then I know obviously your uncle's mentioned, and you sort of said that you don't want to typecast yourself too much, or sort of go down one avenue too sort of quickly and stuff like that. But what is your heart saying now? What would be that ultimate, if you were to design the next, 5-10 years of your life, what would be that type of industry or that type of photography that you would most like to do?
To be honest with you, I would like to get into film. I did get into film to be doing studio shoots for big companies, big brands. That's where I guess also it's a point where right now that's where I see myself. But let's say I get to that point and I'm like, oh, this is not what I kind of like wanted. So then I can recreate what I think is best. So now at this age, this is what I think would be like a good look for me. But maybe when I get there, I can make a bit of tweaks where I can say, okay, cool, now I don't want to do that anymore. I want to be the one to go to other photographers and say, listen, I've got, or even build a company of my own, and to start a magazine. So that's also a thing that I can look in the future. Now I'm not really looking too much. I'm thinking of just working on my craft and then to master my craft and to know everything by, so that even though 10-year-old comes to me and say, oh, I want to learn about this, I can explain to them in a much simplest way. So yeah.
Nice. Well, it's been amazing catching up with you and chatting, and sure, hearing so many words of wisdom, as I mentioned. I suppose just to round it off, are you able to give some bits of advice, I suppose, for GCSE students first of all, and then for students that finish GCSE and going on to the next phase of their life and all the stresses that might have. But first of all, a student about to go into year 11, about to go through the stress of GCSE, looking back at it now, is there any bits of advice you can give them?
Yes, I would say be focused, be disciplined, and be hardworking. Those three. I believe that in my year from year 10 and year 11, because after every year they do these awards. I'm just gonna use this as an example. They do these awards, and after every time we do awards, and then I said to myself, hold on a minute, why is my name not up there? And then I said to myself that by the time I leave the school, I'm gonna get an award. Yeah, I said it in my head that by the time I leave the school, I'm gonna get an award. So it was the last awards night of the year, year 11, and unfortunately I didn't go, because I thought that there's no point. And then the day that I didn't go, it was the day that I got the award. And then I got to school. Yeah, I got to school, and then my English teacher was like to me that, Cyril, you didn't turn up yesterday. I said, yeah. He said, you had an award, the best English, for year 11 for the whole time. I'm thinking, even though that you may not expect the results at the end, keep going, keep working hard. Because what I said to myself, I was saying that I'm gonna get an award by the end of this year. Yeah, little did I know that me having that mindset in my head.
Mm.
It kept me going that basically, so as I said that to myself, it was already built in already. So if I go to class, especially for English, for some reason, I was doing work more than the others. I was doing tomorrow's work. So if you want a good grade, if you want a better result, you have to do twice the work. You have to work hard. So hard work, discipline, and be focused. I was focused. I was disciplined. I was doing more than they were doing. If I had homework, I would have even finished it in 30 minutes of the lesson, and I would have given it to the teacher. I remember his name was Mr. Beaumont, and then he was such a helpful teacher. And then, I got to school, and then he said, "You didn't come," and I said, "Oh no, I actually got the award." And then, what I also thought it was that I wanted to also tell people that I'm not your average guy, because some people were laughing at me about my accent because I'm coming from Ghana and all of this. I said, okay, cool. I'm going to prove you wrong by getting this award. And I did, which I wanted to mount the stage so that they can see me getting the award. But, sometimes it doesn't happen that way. I believe that's called a silent win, where they know about it, but they don't know about it.
Well, yeah.
It's a bit of a shock that I didn't go, but hey, I still got
Murphy's
the award.
Law, isn't it? Oh, it's just so tough. Murphy's Law, like just when the one time you're not there, that is such a shame.
The one time
you did it. Have you used that positive mindset since then? Have you found that that's been really helpful with things?
Yeah. So certain artists that I shoot for photography, people don't actually realize what I've done. For example, I've got a close friend. Every time I do a shoot, and then I call him, and then I post on Instagram, and then he's like, "Cyril, do you know what you just done?" I'm thinking, "What do you mean?" Well, it's just he said, "No, this picture of this artist or this artist is very, even though the likes or the comments or the shares is not as much, but the type of picture that you have taken on that day is not compared to any other photographers that were there." This is when I was saying that even though that you don't really see the results, even though you don't really see the progress, there's a result at the end that at least one person has seen it, and they appreciate it. If you're learning so hard, if you're waking up early, and your mom comes to you and saying you're working so hard, well done, and your sister doesn't, you don't have to be sad about it. At least one person has seen it and appreciates it. It also doesn't mean that if no one has seen it, you shouldn't do it. Someone is probably watching, and at the end of the day, there's a result for that type of dedication, focus, hard work, and discipline. So I believe when I say year 11 student, when you're gonna do this, if you want a great result, you need to focus, you need to be disciplined, and you need to have a good hard working ethic.
But it's so useful you saying that, because in this day and age when we're attaching ourselves so much to lots of likes and lots of follows and lots of appreciation in the virtual world and all that, just from what you're saying, it only needs to be one person saying, hey, that's a good shot.
You just need one. You just need one person.
That's made.
You just need one person. And then him even kind of like telling me that, although he's my friend, sometimes you need your friend to tell you the truth. And that's what I also inform him, that listen, I'm not your friend for you to tell me that is good. I'm your friend because if I do something bad, I want you to tell me. Right? So you just need one person. Now everything is on Snapchat, on Instagram. Because you don't have 200 likes, you're sad. No, that's not life. Life is not about likes. Life is about you getting the work done. At the end of the day, that's what matters. Because your children are going to ask you that, and then you'll be like, oh, I didn't get 200 likes, so I didn't do the work. Well, that's not my fault. You should have done the work, So,
Wise words. So, I mean, you said so many already, but to finish off, what about the, lessons that you've learned from finishing One Degree to now? Can you share any peak advice that you've latched onto through those years that you found it really helpful to keep you going through the ups and downs?
What I would say is that if you get it wrong, it's not the end of the world. If you don't pass your maths issue, if you don't pass your English, it's not the end of the world. You can reset it again. You can have the same energy with the same, but a bit more of what you did. If you were on your phone for an hour, you can cut down that to 30 minutes. But all I was saying is that if you don't get the result that you wanted, it's not the end of the world. You can try again.
Always try again. Oh, amazing. Cyril, thank you so much. It's been great catching up, and half an hour's flown by there. It's just always a pleasure chatting to you. You're such a had so much success already from what I can see, and that's just from what I'm looking at, which seems amazing, and those photographs are amazing, and definitely from what I've heard, what you've said, I would agree to say some of your shots are so unique and so nice, and it's so typically you, the way you do your photography, which is amazing, and I think that's something you must never lose. Just keep that unique Cyrilness in everything you do, which is Cyrilness. So cool. Yeah, it makes you. It makes Cyril, the uniquely Cyril.
Yeah, and even say that you just have to be yourself, because I think we were having this conversation before this, and then you were asking me that if I speak to anyone apart from, at the end of the day, after your exams, you go to college, you go to university, you wouldn't speak to everyone. You have to be yourself, and the people that will stay, and the people that will go. Right now, I only speak to one person out of, I don't know how many students, 200, 300.
Yeah.
So if you think that, this is my friend, is going to be my ride or die, I'm telling you, there'll be a point in your life where I even had one, and I thought that, but then life comes in, and then, there's these situations, but there's always one person that will stay, and then they will appreciate you for who you are, not who they want you to be.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Cyril, thank you so much. It's been great chatting with you. Thank you for spending the time, having a little catch up. To everyone watching, you've been listening to the One Degree Alumni Podcast. My name's Roger from One Degree, and you've been listening to Cyril, alumni from 2018. So thanks so much for listening. Cyril, thank you so much, and we'll see you next time. Thanks.
Thank you. See you.
Bye.
Take care. Bye.